Alright, shalom everybody. I'm just back with another quick video. I got a request to do a Shabbat prep video, so I want to get that out real quick. It's pretty early, so I'm still shiny from moisturizing my skin, but that's not what we're here for. Here to talk about Shabbat prep. And I will share that when I first started keeping Shabbat regularly, it was not easy to, I didn't have everything figured out. So it was a lot of rushing I had to do to try to get things done before sundown, but I got a pretty good routine, and I'll talk about that. Um, I wanted to bring out a couple scriptures. I'm only reading one, but I'm going to give other scripture references. Exodus 20, verse 8 through 11, which is in the Ten Commandments. You got Exodus 31, verse 13 through 16, and it speaks about it being a perpetual covenant. Leviticus 23 and 3, Exodus 35 and 3, where it says, kindle no fire. And Isaiah 58, which I'll read real quick. And there are other scripture references out there for keeping the Sabbath, but those were the ones I just wanted to share real quick. It would be great to do a study, a self-study on keeping the Sabbath throughout all the scriptures, how it's mentioned throughout the scriptures, because it's in the New Testament as well. But Isaiah 58 verses, I'll start at verse 13. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words. Verse 14, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So that particular scripture talks about turning away from our own desires, from doing our own pleasures, and being about us and keeping the Sabbath holy as the Most High's day. Then we'll receive those blessings that He had promised to our forefathers. Now, one of the things I wanted to share about prepping for Shabbat is it's good to have in mind beforehand what you want to eat or serve for that day. Definitely do not wait every single time. It really should be like a last resort to wait until the day of Shabbat. And I know people keep Shabbat on different days. I say Shabbat, but we're talking about Sabbath. Same thing. Don't wait until the day of to try to cram everything into that day, because you will falter. And especially if you're working outside the home, take a day or 2 days before to prepare your meals and etc. One of the things, I'll get into some of the things I prep for Shabbat regularly: pasta salads, because you can eat those cold. And typically I'll do something with like a balsamic or Italian dressing. Then you have the noodles, your various vegetables and stuff like that. And that will keep for a few days in the refrigerator. So if you have a hectic schedule, because I once too had like a really hectic schedule, and that's one of the reasons why I always found myself at the last minute, scurrying in the store, acting crazy, trying to, get things done at the last minute. Um, you can prepare that on the 2 days before and then have it the day of. Also, muffins are really good. And if you don't get like the more cupcakey kind, you can make your own from scratch. But I know a lot of people who don't have time for that. Um, or it's a little difficult to make time for that, I should say. But get some breakfast, some muffins you can have for breakfast. That's always a good option. Of course, fruit. I eat a lot of salads. I eat salad like every day. That's pretty much my whole entire diet right now. So those are some pretty basic, simple things that you can do. Now, as far as dinner, right now the sun sets at different times and stuff like that. So you can already have dinner cooked. If you want, a hot meal, the evening going into the Shabbat and just, let it stay in the stove and the oven and keep warm, that's fine. I don't do that as much. Sometimes I do, but I don't do that as much because sometimes the food gets cold and then it's always an issue. Well, not always an issue, but some people have an issue with can you warm food up on the Shabbat using a microwave or not? I'll say that's up to your head. That's between y'all two. I don't think it's kindling a fire. At the same time, I do my best to not be a stumbling block to somebody else. I would never say, yeah, go ahead, use the microwave. Like, you have to determine that based on your convictions and based on, what you and your head are in agreement with according to the scriptures. Now, there are other alternatives which I want to share. And just two things. One, you can, of course, use the sun to warm your food. Not no steak or nothing like that, but just if you want to get something room temperature, you can do that. And there's also something called a sun oven. And if I can find the link, I'll share the link in the descriptions or whatever the little box is underneath the video. And you can use a sun oven, and it does take a lot longer to cook, but basically it's kind of like a box, and it has a black bottom which traps heat in, and all it does is it takes the heat in from the sun and allows the meal to cook. It's like a something like an old-fashioned crock pot or something like that. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. But I, you can buy one or you can make one. I'm definitely looking into getting one because sometimes you just want a hot meal. Sometimes you might want some soup or something like that, and all soups are not good cold. But that's an option. So meal plans, I do meal plans and I do meal prep, which is I'll plan out what we're going to eat for the week. I'll even write it down because I like to make sure I have everything picked up from the grocery store. So I don't have to go back out and worry about, oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. The day I go grocery shopping, I buy everything for the week. And of course some things beyond, but for this purpose, buy everything we need for the week. And then when Shabbat comes, I'll start 2 days prior. I might the first day, the 2 days prior, go ahead and make whatever's gonna be for lunch or for dinner. Decide that you make that today. So you make that, and then the day before you can make your muffins, or if you want to cut up a fruit salad to save you from having to do a whole bunch of chopping and stuff like that, you can do that because fruit salads will, it's no problem cutting up a fruit salad the day before Shabbat. Um, I know a lot of people do spreads with lunch meat and stuff like that. I'm personally vegan, so I don't deal really too much with the meat, but I do prepare for my husband. So on those days though, he does eat vegan. But really is all what you make it. At first I used to be a little stressed out about it, but as I focused on the reason why I'm doing it, not just, oh, because the Most High said so, so let me get this task out of the way, but I actually took pleasure in it because this is not just something we commanded to do, but it's something given to us for rest, you know. And I started taking that really seriously. Like, I had 6 days to get in whatever I need to get in. This seventh day, I'm gonna go ahead and take that and rest. I appreciate that day. So I'm gonna prepare just like you would prepare a presentation for work because you have a deadline. I'm gonna get my house in order and prepared. So once this sun sets, the sun is down, I can rest. You know what I mean? Have a literal rest and forget about all that work and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to cleaning, I would save that for last because stuff you know the day of because well the daytime before the sundown starting the Sabbath. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. But the preparation day leading into the evening that starts this Shabbat, I would save the cleaning and stuff for that time because stuff will get messed up over and over and over again. And one of the things I've started doing, which I found very, very, very beneficial, is using paper plates. We do use plastic utensils. Of course, we use the plastic cups or paper cups, and that way you can just throw the stuff away. So you're not piling up a whole bunch of dishes. You're not having to do a whole bunch of cleaning and stuff like that. So I just save my cleaning, like let that be the last thing I knock out. So that way it's not bothering me. Oh, I have this all these dishes I have to do and try to rush and get that done for before sundown. Now if I do have something I've prepared, I make sure by a certain time and I check. I actually check to see what time the sun is going to go down. So that way I have a gauge of how much time I actually have to execute any last minute things I need to do. So if I decide I want something different, I can go ahead and cook that up, store it away, set it to the side, let it, stay warm or whatever, and still get those dishes washed. And I done did a Shabbat prep like a boss. So those are just some tips that I have how I prepare. I just try to keep it simple and make it like a joyous thing. Like you preparing to go on a trip. Like I get excited. Like, oh yeah, this is my little Shabbat rest. Like I'm gonna get the rest this day. I'm gonna, wake up, do my prayer, do my meditation, stuff like that. Go back to bed, relax and stuff like that. So that's just how I take it. I take it as a gift from the Most High, a blessing from the Most High to have this set apart day to rest. And it also inspires me to work harder because, if you look at how the world is set up here in Babylon, you have so-called Saturday, so-called Sunday off. So you have these 2 days off and you work these crazy stressful jobs all throughout the week, 5 days a week. But I'm taking that extra 6 day and I'm getting something done, because I'm taking the Shabbat serious and I'm gonna get my rest in for sure. So that's how I go about it. I know it's a lot of other things people struggle with as far as what you can do and what you can't do. I would say be prayerful about it. Listen to the Most High for what He's, convicting you of, what He's telling you of. Don't go by man, go by Scripture. And ladies, you have a head, so you subject it to Him. Be on one accord with Him, because that's the most important thing. Keep the Shabbat. You got plenty of scriptures saying keep the Shabbat, so do that. And do it with joy, do it with gladness, be excited. I get excited when I don't have to rush and be stressed out preparing for the Shabbat. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it's here. It's just a sigh of relief and happiness. That's I guess the best way I can describe it. It's just feel happy. I feel joy once I had a successful Shabbat prep. So just keep those things in mind. If you can do a meal plan, have it already planned out. Make sure you did your shopping on the day you do grocery shopping. Write it down so you don't miss anything. So you don't have to make no last minute trips. I take an inventory of whatever I need and try to do my best to stay on top of that. And then take a day or two before, start your prep. Use paper plates, plastic utensils, paper cups or plastic cups, and that way you don't have a whole bunch of dishes piled up. And make foods that you don't have to necessarily warm up. That way, that really dissolves any discrepancy that there may be about warming food in the microwave or, whatever. So that's what I have. Feel free to share how you do your Shabbat prep. And until next video, may the Most High bless and keep you all. Shalom.